very, very important and close to my heart, and that is net neutrality. I think in this era of net neutrality, a lot of stuff is happening across the globe, and we know India and China are the two countries where everybody has their eye on. India comes with a population of almost 1.35 billion people, and I think that's a huge, huge market for anyone who wants to enter India in a big way. And that's what Walmart, Amazon, and other companies are doing. SoftBank has already invested a lot in India, and let me tell you, that's a good news. So, what's happening with the net neutrality and what has happened in the recent past where the Indian government stands on the stand of net neutrality? I personally believe the word net neutrality is not very well defined because that's not a definition per se. It's basically the perspective of a person, how you imbibe the thought of net neutrality. The Telecom Commission in India has come up with the concept of net neutrality, and a new telecom policy is in place. So, what are the major changes which you are going to see in India, and which is, of my opinion, a good thing for the people who are actually working in the telecom sector? Is removal of double taxation on virtual network operators, which is good. I think that's a good move. What is catching my eye right now is a lot of stuff is happening which people are not aware. And once you don't have the awareness and you leave the control to the net, I think the whole ecosystem changes. How even the human behave in the Industry 4 era. The internet is going to remain open for everybody. When you say internet is going to be open for everybody, you need to define who that everybody is. When technology goes in wrong hands, the control becomes out of control, and the technology has to be restored in a manner which is a balance of 50-50%. Having said that, no service provider would be able to restrict and discriminate, which is good. So, no telecom provider in India would be able to restrict or discriminate the content which is being generated by blocking the content for whatsoever reasons it is, then slowing down the speed, granting that preferential speed. I think when you talk about granting the preferential speed, there are a lot of issues which need to be which can be understood in the holistic view. When we talk about the speed depends on a lot of factors in the internet era or the way the internet works. Something called a CDN is there. The CDN defines what would be the route at the page is going to open. CDN is going to define the speed at which everything is going to open. Say, for example, a very, very simple example would be if you have your domain name .in domain name, per se, that is IN stands for India, and the CDN would be in India. So consumer sitting in India would be able to open that website at a faster speed. However, when you go at the .com and the new concept of domain names which is coming in, that is attorney.com and the other stuff, we need to identify where the CDN is. If the CDN is in other country, definitely the people who are sitting in that country, it's just that like a lightweight. Internet is a bandwidth connection, and when we talk about the megahertz at which the band is working, is something which you need to understand in common words. I think most of the people don't even have idea what internet is. They only know, okay, we need a phone and we just log on to the mobile phone, which nowadays is called smartphone, and making the humans very unsmart. I think people are basically putting their time and energy on that mobile phone, which is not a good habit. Because I have seen people across the globe where they are actually just inside the mobile. It's like it's something is attracting them to be online, because see, when you're online, you are giving up your freedom of even thinking. You start thinking the way people think, and I think an individualistic approach is very, very important to nurture talent. I tell my team, the way I work and the way I do things is I keep a balance. My balance is 50-50. I make sure whatever I do with the awareness that yes, this is going to have impact on the overall ecosystem, to have impact in a big way. So there are CDNs, there are nodes, and if you talk about granting preferential speed, this need to be discussed in detail how this is going to work in a holistic approach. So the aim of the policy which has been enacted is known as NDCP policy, which stands for National Digital Communication Policy. So the name is very intrigued, National Digital Communication Policy. The concept of go digital has been discussed by our government again and again. And why I say government? Because I think the government is for the citizens of India. We need to embrace the fact what democracy is all about. I think 99.9% people in India even don't understand what democracy is. Once you understand what democracy is, what are your rights as a citizen, you will understand the whole ecosystem has to change. The current way is good, but it can be better. And better thing happen, you see the positive aspect in everything. So my request to the citizen of India and to the people across the globe who really want to enter India at any point of time, I would say just see the positive side of everything, and the overall scenario is going to change. Knowledge empowerment is important. Knowledge is free. The only thing is we don't have a mindset, or people don't have a mindset per se. The general population doesn't have a mindset to understand stuff in a very simple manner. So another aspect of the whole telecom communication is there's a project setup of 1 million hotspots. I think that's a good news again. I have seen a lot of pattern application. I have worked with founders and co-founders of people across the globe who are entering into this hotspot culture, and I think I was part of the major merger and acquisitions few years back when hotspot was discussed. Again, it's very profound thought how the hotspot would be monitored. Monitoring is very important because, as I said, technology should not reach in the hand of people. It is a good arsenal. Technology and internet is a good arsenal. At the same point of time, it can backfire you in many ways. You need to understand that concept. A very important aspect which is catching my eyes, the funding to connect stuff, and I think that is a good model. When the funding opportunities is coming from the government, blockchain based technologies and big data analytics is going to play a huge role. I myself is going to apply for these kind of funding because the kind of technology I have in mind, I think that is going to change the mankind for good, and it is going to increase the empathy factor trillion times. I think that is going to impact the 8 billion souls in the current future. And when you see the future, you can start building stuff in the present and make things happen. I think that's the way I really like to work, and it's happening in its own sweet way because a lot of thought process has to go how you really want to increase the empathy factor in humans, and that's the one of the sustainable development goals of United Nations also. So I think when you resonate with the right facts, the universe conspires to make things happen for you. With that thought, I think I talked a lot about technology today and net neutrality. If you have any questions and if you would like me to be a speaker in any of the net neutrality events, I'd be happy to be on stage. I think I bring a lot of knowledge with me as I have been working in technology, law, and business for the last 12 years. My main aim has always been to integrate these three very important factors, because I think when you actually understand technology and when you see it from the angle of an hawkeye, you give a point which is very much the need of the hour. And I would be happy to be part of any of these startups which are in the domain of changing humanity for good. We need to change stuff and we need to build stuff together to make things happen. Have a great day ahead. My name is prity.khastgir. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, or you can just send me a direct message on any of the social medias, and me or somebody from my team will get back to you on that. Have